Hey guys! For decades, Chip Foose has been one of the most recognizable names in the custom car world. Known for his clean designs, his eye for detail, and of course, his role as the star of Overhaulin, Foose built a reputation as the man who could turn tired rides into rolling art. Yet, even with his long list of accolades and a loyal fan base, Foose has a sobering concern. He believes car culture is losing its edge. These days, when Foose walks into a car show, what he sees worries him. The judging isn't about craftsmanship, innovation, or the guts it takes to push boundaries. Instead, he says, it's often little more than a popularity contest. Social media clout and crowd-pleasing safe designs are rewarded over originality and skill. When opinions replace craftsmanship as the deciding factor, Foose explains, safe, traditional builds end up winning. And that shift, he argues, is bad for everyone. From the builders who stop taking risks, to the fans who miss out on truly groundbreaking creations. To understand why Foose is so protective of car culture, it helps to know where he came from. For Chip, cars weren't just machines. They were family heirlooms, learning tools, and the bond he shared with his father, Sam Foose. My father was my hero, my best friend, Chip has said. Growing up, Sam was the shop foreman for custom legend Gene Winfield, working on concept cars, racers, and even vehicles for shows like Star Trek and Get Smart. He often brought home model kits of the cars he built, and young Chip would put them together, unknowingly laying the foundation for his own career. But Chip's earliest driving lesson became infamous. At just a teenager, he got behind the wheel of his dad's overhauled 1956 Ford F-100. With no power steering, the truck was tough to handle. As he wrestled with the wheel, his foot slipped from the brake to the gas pedal. The tires lit up, the truck lurched forward, and before Chip could react, he had slammed into a Rolls-Royce, shoving it into a Porsche parked nearby. 3 cars wrecked in seconds. Instead of anger, Sam gave Chip a lesson he would never forget. He calmly turned off the ignition and said, "Well, you got 3. That moment could have ended Chip's love of cars. Instead, it became the spark that taught him mistakes are part of the journey. Decades later, Chip rebuilt that same Ford pickup, debuting it at SEMA in 2022 as a tribute to his father and his roots. Foose's rise to fame came in the early 2000s, when Overhaulin premiered on TLC. The concept was simple but powerful. Unsuspecting car owners would have their beloved but neglected rides stolen, only to have them see them secretly, restored and transformed by Chip and his team. The show wasn't just about horsepower, it was about emotion. The real prize wasn't the plaque or the applause. It was the moment the car's owners saw their dream machine unveiled for the first time. Many were left speechless, overwhelmed by the sight of their old jalopy reborn as something extraordinary. For Foose, that moment was always the point. The reward was in creating something bold, personal, and unforgettable. That's the spirit he fears is being lost in today's car culture. Pretty but predictable hot rods might win trophies, he says, but they don't win hearts. Foose argues that the growing popularity contest element of car shows encourages safe bets. Builders stick to tried-and-true styles that guarantee approval, rather than exploring fresh ideas that could change the game. This risk-averse environment creates what Foose calls cookie-cutter customs, cars that look good but don't inspire. For a man whose entire career has been about pushing design and blending art with engineering, that's a dangerous trend. It's not just a loss for competitors, Foose warns, it's a loss for the entire industry. Without innovation, car culture stagnates. Without risk-takers, the next generation of car lovers has nothing new to dream about. While Foose was inspiring millions on television, his private life was filled with challenges that tested his resilience. In 2018, he suffered a devastating loss when his father, Sam, passed away. Not only had Sam been his hero and mentor, but also his partner on many projects, including Overhaulin. Losing him left a hole in Chip's personal and professional world. That heartbreak came on the heels of another tragedy: the death of Jesse Combs, a racer and fabricator who appeared on Overhaulin. Known as the fastest woman on four wheels, Combs was killed in 2019 while attempting to break a land speed record. Her passing shook the entire automotive community, Foose included. Around the same time, Chip's 30-year marriage to his wife Lynn quietly ended. Though she had been instrumental in his early success, encouraging him to finish college, helping him build Foose Design, and running the business side of their empire, the strains of long filming schedules and endless work eventually drove them apart. "Sometimes you think you're doing everything for your family," Foose reflected later, "but you don't see how much you're leaving them behind." The divorce left him devastated. For a time, the man who had built dream cars for others struggled to rebuild his own life. Despite the personal storms, Foose never walked away from the garage. He poured his emotions into his work, channeling his pain into creativity. Over time, he found stability again through his children, his designs, and the loyal community that still admired his craftsmanship. Today, Foose Design remains a respected name in the industry. Chip continues to sketch, build, and show up at events, carrying the same philosophy he always has. Cars should be art that moves people, not just vehicles that win trophies. He remains critical, however, of where the culture is headed. The growing obsession with likes, shares, and online approval risks flattening the diversity that once defined hot rodding. If young builders chase validation instead of vision, Foose fears the next wave of great innovators may never get their chance. Foose's perspective isn't just the lament of a veteran builder worried about the old days. It's rooted in a lifelong passion and a sense of responsibility. He knows the power of cars to inspire, not just mechanically, but emotionally. He's lived it himself, from crashing his father's Ford to restoring it decades later, from watching his wife push him to finish college to unveiling dream cars on national television. For him, custom cars aren't just about bending metal. They're about bending expectations, about creating something no one thought possible. That's why he speaks out against the current trends, because the true trophy, in Foose's eyes, isn't the hardware you take home. It's the stunned silence when someone sees their dream car for the first time. So, what's the solution? Foose believes it comes down to values. Builders must put craftsmanship, creativity, and heart ahead of popularity. Judges and fans need to reward boldness, not just polish. And young car lovers must be encouraged to take risks, even if it means making mistakes along the way. After all, Chip Foose learned his biggest lessons not from winning, but from crashing into a Rolls-Royce and having a father who turned it into a teaching moment. Car culture will only stay alive, he insists, if it stays brave. Foose also points to a generational shift in how young enthusiasts approach the hobby. In the past, building a car meant spending years in the garage, often learning through trial and error, guided by mentors. Today, many younger builders consume their knowledge through quick online tutorials or social media clips. While accessible information is a good thing, Foose worries it can also create a surface-level understanding of what true craftsmanship demands. "You can't shortcut experience," he says. "It takes patience, mistakes, and persistence to really master this craft." At the same time, Foose recognizes that car culture is evolving. Electric vehicles, new technologies, and changing tastes are pushing the boundaries in ways he never imagined in his early years. While he embraces innovation, he stresses that creativity, not conformity, must drive the future. He doesn't want to see builders simply swap one set of predictable designs for another. Instead, he encourages young designers to mix old-school skills with new-school technology, creating fresh hybrids that reflect their personal vision. One thing Foose has always valued is storytelling. To him, the best cars aren't just beautiful, they carry history, emotion, and meaning. That's why the Overhaulin reveals were so powerful. Each project wasn't about a random car, but about restoring a piece of someone's life, whether it was a father's old truck or a car tied to childhood memories. He believes the same storytelling element is what will keep car culture vibrant. Without that human connection, cars risk becoming just products instead of passions. Foose also stresses the importance of mentorship. He credits his own father, as well as icons like Boyd Coddington and Gene Winfield for shaping his skills and outlook. Now he feels a responsibility to pass those lessons down. Whenever he speaks at shows or meets young fans, he emphasizes the value of patience, humility, and a willingness to learn. "The cars are what people see," Foose says, "but the real legacy is in the people you influence along the way." For all his critiques of the current scene, Foose isn't pessimistic. He sees flashes of brilliance in up-and-coming builders who still dare to be bold. The challenge, he says, is giving those risk-takers a platform where their creativity is celebrated instead of sidelined. If the culture can shift back to honoring originality, he believes the next wave of customizers could spark a true renaissance. In the meantime, Foose continues to do what he has always done: design, build, and inspire. Whether it's a classic hot rod with a modern twist or a concept that pushes boundaries, his work remains a reminder of what's possible when passion outweighs popularity. Each new project is his quiet rebellion against the safe and the ordinary. Ultimately, Foose's message to the car world is simple but urgent. Don't let the culture get comfortable. The industry didn't become what it is today by playing it safe. It was built by risk-takers, dreamers, and innovators who weren't afraid to shock people. "If we lose that edge," Foose warns, "we lose the very soul of hot rodding."